Hello and welcome to today's Happy New Year class. Just gonna have a free class. I have a saying in my life, which is the universe always transpires for me. And last week we had some issues with Zoom, and the recording didn't record. It showed only 1 minute that recorded. And then when I finally got to talk with them, the problem was that my lockbox basically was completely full. There wasn't room for any more recording, but my problem was I had deleted all of it. Everything was deleted. And I'm like, how do I have more stuff in here that won't record when I've deleted everything that I've ever recorded? And the guy says, well, I don't show you've deleted anything. So there was some kind of a glitch that had happened. And so now we're good to go, at least until that glitch fills back up with another 15 gig of hard drive. But anyway, because it hadn't recorded, I told the class that I would run this little class today to try to make it up. And then as soon as I got done with that, I said in my email, I said, I think I'll put this whole thing in a court of atonement to solve it. And immediately the thing came back up online and Zoom was calling back, hey, we see that the way that this is set up, that when our recording stopped, it should have started in your computer and recorded it. You should have that file. And so although the file wasn't the way I wanted it to look, because it was showing you all of the different screens and everything that I have going on, I was just blessed that it worked. So anyway, here I am, and I'm like, well, do I cancel that class? No, why don't you just give it for free and let anybody who can come in, because I have some new information. I have a lot of people who come to me and they say, I'm under psychic attack. I have a demon. My life is so horrible, you would not believe the things I've been through, and I am being singled out. And the list goes on and on, but I'm not singling out any one person here. I've got, I've had probably 150 people tell me that. And so I've been looking into why this energy is coming in and why it's coming at them, because some of these people are very, very diligent and they're doing all of this work. The way that Abraham explained the difference between positive and negative energy is that positive energy is when we are radiant and we are radiating out positive energy. And when the negative energy is when that's imploding and we're drafting in everything. So before we're going out and we're magnetizing in what we want, and when we're in that implode of energy coming at us, anything, it's, Katie bar the door, it's all coming. So then he wants to be very sure that everybody here understands that when we might be very positive and optimistic people, but deep down inside us, we have unforgiveness and unhealed hurts and things. And when that energy is inside of us, that's the only thing that drops that radiance, especially when you see something that reminds us of that. And now in this day and age, with television showing us all kinds of bizarre shows, we immediately get triggered to things that we've completely forgotten or never thought about. So his recommendation just absolutely floored me. Of course, I'm going to say that he wants us to forgive and to pardon, but he wants us to, in this group today, we're going to do some stuff and work. And one area that he's saying people don't realize they've got on them is that their energy, they have unforgiveness at their birth. They have unforgiveness of having older siblings that were angry that they came into the world. I would say close to 50% of the people I have worked with have said that the day their baby brother or sister was born was the worst day of their life. I mean, that they go, oh, that changed everything. And so I'm really, really shocked at that. And so when he said this, it made a lot of sense to me. Hang on one second. I'm just checking to see that things were moving around in here, and I want to make sure that I was answering people's questions. So anyway, so we're going to do a little bit of exercising here to see if a couple exercises to see if we can clear, if you can feel what things are going on, and if we can get some of this energy to shift. And I want you to know that this is something you work at. This is something you keep going, because when I started, I was only 20% open in my heart. And when you're completely blocked up, you can't get anything you're looking for. And when you start to get a little bit open, then you start to radiate and things start to come the way you want, but you've got the maneuverability of other things still coming back at you. So I'm trying to decide, give me 1 second. No, I'll go ahead and explain that. So I talk about having a heart barricade, that our energy comes out our heart and goes out this direction, and it goes out when we're sending things out. It that energy goes out, it connects to what we're thinking about, and it starts bringing things of that same frequency back. It's always bringing the same frequency back. But anyway, when it's coming back, when your heart is open, then it goes out and then it comes back. And when you're doing healings on people, when your heart is open, you get much more healing energy. But when our heart gets a barricade on it, when somebody breaks our heart and we want to protect ourselves, we start to energetically create a boundary there. And then those around us who love us and they want it to stop, they don't want us to get hurt again. Their energy comes in to shield and protect us. And we do it lovingly to each other, but still it makes it harder and harder to pull that energy off. And when we have unforgiveness, that's in that energy too, to try to keep from being hurt by those people again. So it's very convoluted. It's lots and lots of energy. So when you're trying to send energy out, it hits this energy. So you're thinking, I would really love to have a new truck. Boom, it hits that, it comes back, but I'll never have the money for it. And you get the exact opposite of what your original thought was. Those thoughts that come back of but is because you've got a wall up and you're getting what I call a backfire or a ricochet. So when we've got this, we say, I'd like to ask people to stop speaking in the thing because it keeps popping up messages in front of me and I'm losing my train of thought. So if you can wait till the end, that'd be great. No hard feelings. So anyway, this when the energy comes out and it hits and we get that but, we've stopped all progress. We've completely stopped all progress toward that. And so we've always kind of had the mindset that it was our negative beliefs that were causing all of this. And that is true, that's still true. But they're in that ricochet, they're in that heart, I can't have what I want. This is, when you hit that energy comes back and you get those buts. And you get the opposite of what you're looking for. So if you're looking for good health and you're putting it out there, you end up with traumas and things going wrong. And so positive thinking isn't enough. We have to clear this energy out. And so like I said, one of the things that he was saying is, let's take a look at the birth. So right now, to get us started on maybe trying to clean some of that energy out, I'd like you all to just take a notice of how you feel in this moment. Just sit there and notice, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you feeling the energy of the house around you? Do you feel perfect and content? Kind of notice where it is. And then given a number on a scale of 1 to 10, let's just say that 10 is absolutely peaceful. So 10 is absolutely peaceful, and we're gonna go all the way to 0, nothing at all. And 1 is just almost peaceful. So give yourself a number. Where are you? And now I want you to say, I am open and willing to forgive. On a scale of 1 to 10, how true does that feel? I am open and willing to forgive. So now I want you to say, I just notice where you're feeling again. Notice how you feel. And now I want you to say, I am, and state your name. I am Amy Josepha Richards Ellis. I'm saying my whole name. State whatever makes you feel the best. So I am, and only. I am, and only. And state your name again each time. I am, and only. Now notice how you're feeling all over. Did it change a little bit? Did it feel any better? Because sometimes other people's energy is on us. And so when we're saying I am, we're drawing our kind of our energy back to us. And when we say and only, we're pushing things out. If it's okay, don't answer in the chat room about where your numbers are and everything, because there's 200 people in here. If we all start doing it, it'll just get busy, and there's no way for me to shut it off, and it keeps throwing a message in front of the camera, so in front of where I am, so I get lost. So anyway, now I want you to say again, I am open and willing to forgive. Did it feel truer after you separated yourself from everybody else's stuff? Did it feel more like you're open and willing to forgive? Because what will happen is we've got ancestral energies that are kind of on us. And when we say I am only, we're pushing that ancestral energy back. I'm checking, is that true? Yes, okay, just making sure I'm on with Abraham here. So anyway, now so it might have helped it a little, but maybe not completely. So what we want to do is say, I want you to do a court of atonement on this and say, I, and state your name. Place myself and say your name again. Heart, body, and soul. Conscious, subconscious, and spirit. Into a full court of atonement. I bring in the entirety of my family lineage. And I bring in all of our guides. I ask to create openness and willingness to forgive. I ask to create openness and willingness to pardon. I ask to create openness and willingness to forgive the unforgivables. And now I would like you to say, I am, and state your name, open and willing to forgive. Did it feel more open and willing to forgive at this point? Yes or no? You can nod, shake your head. That'd be great. Yeah, for those who's got their cameras on, that'd be nice. There we go. So now, what I want you to do is say, I place myself in a full court of atonement, and state your names, of course. And I bring in my mom and dad, and if you have steps and all of these other people in there, if you have birth parents and adopted parents, bring them all in and state their names. Bring in as many people as you know. And I want you to say, although this seems counterintuitive, I want you to say to your parents, I apologize for being born. I apologize for the hardships my life has brought to your life. Now bring in all your brothers and sisters. And I want you to say, I apologize. I apologize for being born. I apologize for any and all hardships my life has brought to your life. And I forgive you for being born. And I forgive you for the hardships your life has brought to my life. Now take a kind of a deep breath and blow out on that. I see some people really being affected by that. Yay, that's a good thing. Want to see those yawns and tears and whatever else that comes up on that. So this is something that you can, so I want you to say, forget, let me see. There are things you all have done. Just say there are things that people in life have done. And I have not been able to forgive them. I ask them to forgive me for that. Again, there are things that people have done that I have not been able to forgive. Please forgive me for that. Again, there are things that people have done that I have not been able to forgive them for. I ask them to forgive me for not forgiving them. Now, there are things that I have done that people have not forgiven me. I apologize for my part, and I forgive you for not forgiving me. I apologize for my part. Please forgive me, and I forgive you for not forgiving me. I ask myself to pardon everyone. And I ask myself to pardon even those I don't want to pardon. And I apologize for my part, and I ask you to consider pardoning me. We can't ask for it right outright, but we can ask them to consider it. So now if you stop and say, I am, and state your name, and only. Say it a couple more times. I am, and only. I place myself in a full court of atonement for soul recognition. I bring in the entirety of my family lineage. I bring in everyone who is connected to me in this life. I ask for soul recognition for all of us. I ask for grief recovery resolution. I ask for traumatic stress resolution. And I ask for heart center optimization. Now, the first time I ever asked for heart center optimization, I was like, steam came out my ears. And I thought, wow, this is a whole bunch of stuff that I've written in there on things to, to me, it's a shortcut. It'll allow you to get the heart center open so you can make the request, but it's going to collapse because you still have the unforgiveness in there. And we probably still have a lot more of it. We're just touching what's active, So anyway, using heart center optimization as a court of atonement protocol is really powerful thing to do for yourself when you're going to be saying courts of atonement, because it opens that heart and allows that energy to get out. If you look at a truck and you think, I really want a truck, and you get the yes but, say, I place myself in a full court of atonement for heart center optimization. I place myself in a full court of atonement with that truck, and I ask to clear all conflicts between us. And that way, the energy can get moving and get some stuff out there. I might be able to pull up a number and say, okay, the overall energy, heart center energy, was really low, down even below 1,000 on my chart here that I use. And now we've gotten it up to about 30,000, and it needs to be up around 70,000 for complete, to be completely clear. That's my clear number. But I just thought, as a thing we can see, we've made a big shift. You should notice, things being able to move a little easier. So right now, I'd like us to bring in, if we're going to clean a little more of this up, I'd like you to place yourself in a full court of atonement and start bringing in everyone you've ever been in love with. And even if they didn't love you back. So, this is unrequited love is one of the worst things for leaving unfinished business behind. So if you don't want to leave any ghosts behind, you work on that unfinished business. Unrequited love is one of the main characters of that. So right now, I state your name, place myself in a full court of atonement to create openness and willingness to forgive. And I bring in and start bringing in people. Okay, anybody else you can think of, bring them in. Especially significant others of current. Don't let that pass. And say, I apologize for my part in our relationships. I apologize for my part in our relationship. And say it a couple times. And you can say I and state your name, apologize for my part in our relationship. So that'll help strengthen it. The name is really a power generator. As I forgive you, let me see. I'm sorry, let's go to, I apologize for not forgiving you sooner. There are things that you have done that I cannot forgive you for. And I apologize for that. And say it again. There are things that happened that I have not been able to forgive. Please forgive me for that. One more time. There are things that happened that I have not forgiven you for. Please forgive me for not forgiving you. I place us in this court of atonement to help us forgive each other. As I forgive you, I ask you to forgive me. I apologize for my part in this. Asking if I need to repeat it, no. Let's do it. Hang on one second. I ask you, as I forgive and pardon you, I ask you to forgive and pardon me. Now let's bring in all brothers and sisters. Instead of just about being born. So I state your name, place myself in a full court of atonement. I bring in my brothers and sisters, any and all cousins, and any of your friends, and just say, and any and all friends. And if any names come to mind, bring them in. And now let's say, there are things that happened between us that I cannot forgive you for, that I feel I cannot forgive you for. I ask you to forgive me for not forgiving you. There are things that have happened that I have not forgiven you for, and that you have not forgiven me for. I ask you to forgive me for that. I place us all in a full court of atonement for the purpose of creating openness and willingness to make peace with the past. Yes, you absolutely can bring in people who are deceased. I'm so sorry. You should have, it works even better on them. People who are deceased are usually more willing to let it go because they don't have the human emotions kind of wrapped up in it. So now say, I am, and state your name. And only. And I openly and willingly forgive and pardon the past. Somebody said we need to do one on forgiving ourselves. That was next. You picked up on it. That's exactly where we're going. And so now I'd like you to say I and state your name as it is now. Place myself in a full court of atonement with myself, and start naming all the names you've gone by. Go by the name you were born with to any names you've gone by. I placed myself in a full court of atonement with myself. And you can bring in some of those nicknames that were really pertinent to. I ask to create openness and willingness within myself to forgive and pardon the past. And now say, I ask myself to forgive myself. And say I and state your name. Ask myself to forgive myself. I state your name. Ask myself to forgive myself. I ask myself to forgive myself. I place myself in a full court of atonement for the purpose of forgiving myself, excusing myself, and pardoning myself. And now you all know I'm not a real religious person here. Really went raised without religion, but I find it very beneficial to place ourselves in a full court of atonement with God, whatever way you call that name, no matter what religion you are. Just I place myself in a full court of atonement, and you can say with God, with Jesus, with with all of the Indian, I'm wanting to say the wrong name here, Ganesh, Shiva, all of those. I want you to just say, I place myself in a full court of atonement. How about with all gods? I place myself in a full court of atonement with all gods known to me. And I ask to be pardoned. And I apologize for anything I have done or said offensive that I need to apologize for. And that's coming through. I don't know why that's being said. I apologize, and I ask for assistance in pardoning myself. I ask for assistance in forgiving myself. And now we say, there are things that I blame God for that I've had trouble forgiving up until now. And I ask you to forgive me for not forgiving you. And he's saying that you know, basically life itself is what God is. And so when we've got this kind of a, that, you know, the life force energy that's inside each atom that makes it know itself is really what God force energy is. And so if we have any kind of major anger toward God, which I know a lot of people that do, we just kind of want to get rid of that, whether you believe in a God or you think I'm full of shit. I don't care. It's going to be really beneficial to you to try to do this. So, so right now, just say, I place myself into a full court of atonement with life. And I apologize for any resentment I've had toward life. And I pardon and forgive life for any hardships it's brought me. You see how we're doing? Yeah, we're up between around more like between 45 and 50,000. So we've brought it up from right below 30,000. So we come up another 20. And like I said, I still have only gotten myself up to about 85% clear on this, and I work on it endlessly. So I'll give you some write-outs of some of this information and send it out to the email list as an email. You'll get it on things that, you know, on the, I don't know if I'll do all the ones that we called today. You have that available as a replay. Will go out to the mailing list. Let me see. So just let me give me a minute to check in and see if there's. So I asked if there was any farther that they wanted me to go with it today, and the answer was no. I think you can get on the mailing. Somebody's asking, how do I get on the mailing list? Because somebody referred me in. They can probably forward you this, but what I would do is go to the website courtofatonement.com, and there is a place to sign up for it. I can't tell you what page it's on, but you can peek around in there and see what you can find. I know it's there. One more second. So I'm just asking, is there anything else? And they're saying no, there's not anything else that we need to do, particularly on this call. They do want to express their gratitude for the amount of work that people are putting into this. And they're saying there's more visibility of it working now than ever before. Before, when we were working, they could see it, that it was helping, and now they're saying that I kind of think of it the way they're showing it to me as like swimming in cloudy water, and you can only see, or in the fog. Now the fog is kind of lifting and there's more visibility. Is that what you're meaning? Yes. Okay. So they are seeing that this is helping. And it's helping us here on Earth. They want to make sure you understand that it's helping us here on Earth. Is it more? I guess it is helping them there as well, because I was thinking it was more for us than them, but they're no, probably even. If it makes you feel better, it's helping them too, that much. So let me see one more thing. I wanted to do another one that might be helpful to everyone, even though it's not something that Abraham's bringing forward. This is a thought I have for myself. I want you to place yourself in a full court of atonement. I hate myself in a full court of atonement. I bring in the entirety of my family lineage. I bring in all our guides. I bring in all of our religious leaders and religious doctrines. And I ask to correct all conflicts with money. I apologize to money. I apologize for blaming money for my problems. I apologize to money. And I ask money to forgive me. There are still things I can't forgive money for, and I ask to be forgiven for that. And there are still some things it's hard to forgive money for, and I ask to be forgiven for that. And I place myself in a full court of atonement for fully and completely forgiving money. And now I ask myself to pardon money. I ask myself to see the divine, I ask all of my family lineage to see the divine truth of money. And I ask money to pardon us. Anyway, who knows what all this will break out for people, because it'll be kind of an every level kind of area, this overall healing. So anyway, I thank you all for joining me today. And again, I'm grateful that the universe always transpires for me, and it temporarily erased my video so that I would come together and give you guys this. Anyway, I hope to see you all again and see you in another class. So thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.